All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are here for the zoning citation hearings for May 7th, 2025. These items here were items which were continued from the April 16th hearing, which we had to postpone due to the nationwide Zoom outage there. So hopefully we'll get through these pretty quick. We have 5 items on the agenda. And the first 2 items, 65 Van Zant, 28 Rowan, same property owner is here. Counselor?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary Oberst. I'm the hearing officer today. You've been cited for violating one or more of the zoning regulations. To my right is John Hayducky, the deputy zoning officer representing the city of Norwalk. When I call you Matty, you can take a seat at the table, or you can zoom in if you're coming in by Zoom or telephone. The procedure is the city presents its findings. You then have an opportunity to be heard. Any interested party I will hear, and failing that we'll try to make a resolution that satisfies everyone. If we can't, we'll make a decision that may or may not satisfy anyone. Anybody representing my council today?
Not here today.
No. Okay, so you want to start with the gentleman who's already sitting at the table, thinks he's next, so.
Yeah, he is. He got a friendly heads up on that. So let me pull this up here. Oh, wait, do I already have it up? I do. Okay, so for those at home, the first items here are 28 Rowan and 65 Van Zant Street. So we're gonna kind of treat the presentations as one, just for the sake of time here. So last time we were here, well, like I said, all of these, the last time we were here was the 16th. So really the last time you heard this was on, the last time this was heard at all was March 26th.
Okay.
Would you like to swear in the
Yes.
yeah.
Sir, please raise your right hand. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Would you state your name for the record, please?
Excuse me?
State your name for the record.
Oh, Milan Pribelski,
And your address is?
10 Fox Run Road, Norwalk, Connecticut.
Okay, I'm gonna let Mr. Hayducky tell me why you're here.
Well, the last hearing on this was March 26th. This was actually in front of Attorney Maslin. Attorney Maslin said in fairness to all parties, he decided to kick this to you, and then we had to postpone our hearings, and here we are today. So this was a violation for contractor storage. The owner of the property bought the properties which contained Jimmy's Deli, and that was properly demoed. However, there was some equipment left there after the demo, and the neighbor filed a complaint. So, cutting to the chase, I got some photos that may help here. So bear with me for a moment. So we have a first photo there on the screen. It's from February 3rd. I know that was prior to the previous hearing, but this is just for a refresher. And at that time, you can see clearly there was an excavator, but that had some mechanical issues, so that had a little difficulty getting removed. A couple of dumpsters and a couple of pallets of material. And here's another photo, a little wider shot of the property. This is on the Rowan Street side. 65 Van Zant is on the opposite side, by the gray house over there. So on March 17th, same deal. I took these photos for the March hearing. And it's the same. You can see you got the excavator on the left side, 2 dumpsters, and in between the dumpsters, you have pallet material. And so we'll keep on going here. This was taken on March 19th, after I received a email from the owner saying that the excavator had been removed. And sure enough, the excavator was removed. That was on March 19th. And next, photo here is March 26th. That was for the hearing with Attorney Maslin, wanted to have a updated photo, similar conditions to March 19th. We move on here. These photos were taken by my colleague Ian and emailed to me. These were done on, when did he send these? These were from April 1st. And that email is in their packet there, Counselor. But for those at home, you can see there's still, this was taken from the Van Zant Street side. And you see there's a couple of dumpsters and two small pallets. I think I got a better view here. Yep. And then, what else did I throw in here? Another photo taken by my colleague Ian. And on this is good news here. The dumpsters have been removed.
Good.
And last but not least, have photos here from April 29th showing everything has been removed. So in a brief summary of the photos, the property is in compliance with zoning. There's no equipment, no materials, no anything to consider contractor storage. As for a timeline, just very to put on record.
One
Yes, sir.
second.
Yep.
Mr. Probelski, is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any objection to any of these photos?
Yes, I would like to say that, number one, I didn't know there is any violation that I cannot keep the machines over there.
That's not what I'm asking. Are these photos accurate?
Correct, yes.
That's all I need. Okay. And they're full exhibits. Go ahead.
Very good. So, yeah, so a few things I want to put on record as the property owner alluded to right there, that the excavator did have some issues being having to be moved. It wasn't as easy as starting up and moving it. It had to be physically removed. And the property owner had been responsive when he found out that there were still things on there. He did work with us to let me know when they'd be removed and notified us immediately that they'd be removed. And just again, to hammer home for the folks at home and here is that, the issue wasn't so much that, there was not a business being ran out of here. It wasn't a contractor's business. It was the fact that we had a demolition permit, and in theory, when the demolition is done, most of the time, there's a permit ready to go to start work, to start doing things. In this case, because of the nature of the proposed work, it's a little more complex. It needs to get zoning commission approval. And I think the owner just didn't realize that, probably didn't feel it was gonna take that as long as it is. It's still going right now, the application process. So that's why the items were there. Still not proper, but I don't think there was a malicious intent to start a business here. And last but not least, like I said, the application is in. I think,
Traffic's in.
yep, the traffic report is in, and it's gonna be in front of the zoning commission within the next couple of weeks. So everybody here and at home will be able to see the project up close and personal, what's being proposed.
So you're recommending we take it off the hearing process?
I would be okay if we not only took it off, I think the property's in compliance. And so there'd be no reason to continue it to another hearing. I would agree with an assessment if you wish to close the file. The staff would not have an issue with that. And then it would just be a matter of, do you feel the necessity to assess any fines?
It sounds like he did everything he could as reasonably as he could. I'm happy to close the file.
I think that's fine with me. I'm not sure the owner wants to add anything here, but
I'm sorry, didn't get to speak and maybe somebody objects. Let's make sure everybody gets a chance to be heard. If you want to say anything,
Sure, yeah.
this would be the worst
Yes.
time to say anything.
Yeah, I would like to say that that we had the 3 machines on a site. So first I received a letter I moved two machines the next day. That was removed the next day.
Do you hear that I'm about to drop your case?
Oh, yeah,
There's nothing you can say,
Okay.
Deborah,
understand.
you only can make a mistake.
I understand. Right,
Let's see if there's anybody else who wants
It
to.
looks like there is nobody attending here at the moment. I don't see anybody in my email. I've learned to keep my email up just in case.
Okay.
So, so we don't have anybody there. Of course, we do need two decision forms because of,
That's fine.
two properties.
So we're just gonna say, violation cured,
Mhm.
cured, no fine, matter closed. Force. Fine. Okay. Good,
All right, well, you're all set.
thank you.
thank you so
You
much.
get those, I'll send you those via email.
All right.
And if you want to take care of that.
I will.
check
I'll
out-
go right
They're
now.
still there right now, so we would take care of that.
Town of Norwalk,
City of Norwalk.
City
Yep.
of Norwalk.
Got it.
Thank you.
All right, you got it. Take care.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone you prefer next? Anyone have a reason to leave early?
We can go right in order. Next one in line is 318 Strawberry Hill Ave.
That's us.
Yeah, there we go.
This is my sister Geraldine, I'm Anthony.
Anthony, pleasure.
My heart pleasure.
Okay. So let's, get the file out here. I'll give you your, binder there. A second.
Why do they make these chairs so heavy?
Yeah, they are heavy.
Make sure you stay there. Okay. Let me get the presentation up there. Whoop. Share screen. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. Very good. Have your ready there, Council. Look it up.
Ready.
Yep, you got it.
Okay,
Did you read that, Jim?
yeah.
I can't read.
I can make it larger.
Oh.
It's not a problem. There we go.
Citation hearing.
Oh, that's too much. There we go.
So the heating and air conditioning business
So this guy,
is occupied without zoning approval and certificates of compliance,
I've called him many times.
temporary
So we'll
signage placed.
we'll go through it.
Okay.
We'll go through it. Don't worry. We
You know, I have no
outlined each
problem.
one.
Oh, I'm,
And
I've been
well,
listening to that problem for 60
I'm
years.
sorry to hear
You're the
that.
worst guy. Some people, yeah, I mean, I don't know where they're coming from.
All right, we'll go through each one when
Okay.
council's ready, and then we'll,
Okay.
and I'll show some pictures and then, like, kind of like we just did here. And
Yeah.
then, and we'll address each one.
Let's, wait a second. Here. Here's your history thing.
Right there. You got it. I try not to mess you up too much.
All right, this was 2024.
We're late 2024, yeah.
So the business, the person we lease the property to, Climate Care, is responsible to get the,
Excuse me.
Certificate of
Excuse me,
compliance.
ma'am, I read
I'm
that here
sorry.
at the same time.
I think bald.
Let me just, what's the violation, John? I'm sorry, I'm not following this.
There are,
All right, go ahead, you do your
oh,
thing.
there's, yeah, I go through it anyway, so might as well just, put it on the
We'll
board here.
Swear in the witnesses.
Yeah, you wanna do that first, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Raise your hand, state
Yes.
your names, please.
Anthony J. D'Amico,
Geraldine Staus.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll start with the violations, so everybody's on the same page. There are three.
Oh.
So one is the occupancy of the building without a tenant fit up or a occupancy permit from the building department. There is the temporary and portable signage. Been there for much longer than allotted by the regs.
Who put the
Are
sign?
you, are you talking about
Excuse me.
having downstairs?
Oh,
Let him- You
Okay.
can, you'll get all the time you need.
And then, last, we have one of your classics parking in the front setback.
Okay.
Now. So really quick, some updates from since the last time,
What kind of property is it? It's a
commercial property.
Commercial.
Oh, it's a commercial, okay, fine.
It's right off of, where Itoro's is,
Yeah.
in the, Shell station on the corner,
Yeah,
go up Strawberry Hill.
yeah,
Right there on your right-hand side.
okay.
I have a map, I think I included a map in here
Well,
for,
let's- Yeah, let's look at the.
oh, here, I can do that, let me scroll down, we'll
Make sure
bypass
we're
this
all
for a moment.
understanding this.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's not as great as I would have liked it, but here we go. Oops, wrong way. I gotta shrink this down just for a second. Okay. So here's Westport Ave, Route
Right.
1. Strawberry Hills here, the Shell station's here. Here's Itoro's. Here's the property. And you keep going up Strawberry Hill towards Wolcott Avenue.
Yeah, okay, now tell me the violations again, now that I'm
All
looking.
right, so we have, this is the area in front, subject to the parking.
Right,
That's the least of the issues. Then we have occupancy of the first floor of the building without, we have legal occupancy of the basement. For a tire shop, that's legal. They have their permits and they're good to go. And then unfortunately, that tire shop has put up a lot of portable signage and temporary signage.
where is it?
It would be, I got pictures, but it'd be right here there's a fence right here.
Right.
I'll get you a close up, but it's right in here and and sometimes it spills over into the neighboring property as well.
Okay,
So, that's just the three.
and that's the tire person,
Correct. He is legal to be there. He has all the
He's a-
proper permits.
but
He's
he's
good.
not the owner. He's.
Correct. He's not the
He's a
owner.
tenant.
Correct. He's a tenant. Correct. That is correct. So let's go right to the pictures. Let's do
Go
that.
ahead.
Right to that. So again, we're gonna start a little farther back here. This was one I got while, waiting for a red light at the corner of Strawberry Hill and Westport Avenue on the south side.
Yeah.
And at this time, this was in February, some pennants for tire sales were on the corner of Route 1 and Strawberry Hill on the Shell property. And then we get a little closer and you can see them up close here. So
Yeah.
here's that fence
Yeah.
referred to there. And you have portable signage. This is all portable signage and temporary signage.
Okay.
And we have one more. Oh, okay, so back in February, we're still in February here. This was on February 20th. I went back and got some close-up pictures, pulled into the side of the road there. So there's the signage for the tenant that does not have permits. And then we have, and it's a little wider shot so you can see where it is on the building. Then we have, so this is looking down towards Route 1 from the edge of the entrance to the property. And you see this is the same signage you saw before. There's a few of the pennant signs as well.
Mhm.
And a little close up, what it looks like. This parking and rear sign is probably the only thing that would be permitted to stay there. The rest of it, tire on a pole, I get the idea, interesting though. Very interesting.
Well, what's he supposed to do for signage?
Well, he does have you can use the right, there's a ground sign there.
Okay.
That you can put his signage in there. But anything that's temporarily affixed to the ground or to a fence or to a post or to anything like that is considered temporary or portable. And that's only allowed for X amount of days. But it's only X amount of days in a calendar year. So,
Gotcha.
and
How many days is he allowed and how many days has it been there?
well, 30 days.
We're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that. You can do the math pretty easily. You can do the math's gonna be pretty easy. Photo 5. So here is that ground sign. So technically, here, he can do this here, no problem. Or if you wanted a bigger sign, he can put it up here. Because the sign is existing non-legal. So he can put it here, he can put it here, doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But the rest of this is a big one too. This guy here, this is what we call a changeable copy sign.
Right, yeah.
Most of you see them all over in Norwalk.
Yep.
There are only 11 of them that are legal. These have been prohibited in Norwalk for about 15 years.
I've never seen this before.
But this one here or any of
It's
them,
violations, it's like. new.
no, folks generally don't complain about them because they think they're legal. They are not.
Huh.
But when we find one, we have to include it in our,
Okay.
in
You
what we
mean
do.
that stanchion that's outside the building in the front is not legal?
This guy, this is legal. The stanchion
We
sign
only
is
have
legal.
one sign and the both tenants share. Are
Right,
supposed to share.
and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
It's the rest
But
of
they're
this stuff.
putting all the additional signage on the walls,
I know, without permission.
yeah.
And this is a close-up of it. And the reason I wanted to take two photos is because this you can say says Sunday. And this says Monday, so you can see it changed. So it's not just a stationary sign, it is truly a changeable sign. I have just a few more photos, not too much more. This is from April 4th, so you can see this is from, these photos here were from February 20th. You go down, this is my set of photos from April 4th. And so I got that little sign right there in the window of the tenant,
So that's not allowed.
because he's not allowed, right?
What do you mean?
He
he's
didn't
not-
get his
well,
permits.
We'll get to that.
He's
We'll get to
operating
that.
without a permit, this guy.
Okay, so,
And then lastly,
My
again,
blood boils, money for this.
signage here. Again, that tire on the pole is still very interesting. I get it. I really do, but interesting. And say the big pennants had been removed. The big flags
Okay.
were removed. So that's better. But we still have these, our blight guys go and pick these things up all the time. From Public Works and from the blight office, because they're basically banned in Norwalk.
so when was this
so
picture taken?
This one was from
April
April
4th,
4th,
he said.
right here,
So that's fairly recent.
right, and we have some more, we have more. And this is the last one from the April 4th. Oh, no, I lied, second to last one from April 4th. And then we'll go down, here we go, that's another from April 4th. I know I have a few newer ones here, I wanna just, there we go, 23rd, April 23rd, here we go. So April 23rd here, we have, you can see wash, rinse and repeat, same signage. Yeah, still in the window, still here. Again, there's the window sign. I don't know why I took so many pictures of that, but, and then again,
This guy's bad news, you know that.
We should
I
just go
think
up
that
and
might
take
be
it
all of
down and
them.
tell 'em.
I got one more there.
Oh, I talked to this guy.
Oh, there we go.
He doesn't listen.
Ian went out yesterday and got me this. This was yesterday. There you go.
That's pictures. You have any objection to any of these pictures as not being accurate?
No, the only
haven't been there, so I-
objection I would have is, to the reference to that one sign, which we always thought was legal. And I've included in our leases that it's for both tenants. My brothers both occupied that space.
That is legal, that's.
But this sign right here, the one here, let me.
With the
I'll-
two stanchions, looking from the post road
The one that
over
has
the shelf
nothing,
station back.
Yeah, this guy right here, this guy.
that's the legal one.
This here is legal.
Yeah,
That's
So
legal.
why aren't they using it?
they're supposed to. That's the way it has always been. On the upper part of that stanchion, my brother used that for his auto parts business, and the lower part, there was a sign for the auto body repair shop for my other older brother. And I'll explain this to both tenants, they don't listen. And, you know, the lease states unequivocally that they're supposed to comply with all local regulations and laws. But these people don't do it. You know how many times I told them to remove those
That's why you're
signs?
here.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
I'm gonna remove them, Counselor, I'm telling
I don't
you.
blame you, but in
I
the
don't
meantime,
know this.
it's your responsibility.
We should just go take them down.
I don't know
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can do that. It
You
don't-
don't
He's
think we
violating the
can't do
lease.
I
that?
don't know. I'm not gonna give you legal advice, but always think twice before you do self-help.
Okay,
So in a very nutshell, I think we get the idea, but in a nutshell here,
And the
Um,
parking, you didn't show me pictures of
Oh,
anyone parking in the front side.
I can do that. I can
That
do
I will, we'll go into detail, just as soon as you give me a chance to speak.
Yeah, I
We're
will
gonna
go.
get a chance to speak. I just wanna understand
Let's see if I can get a
what
little.
Mr. Adaki is complaining about.
well, it
I
isn't
don't
us,
complain about much. I don't
What's
think-
that? What's- yeah.
but I can't
Here we go.
understand why they wouldn't allow the sign in the
Right
window.
there. This area here.
So you got one car parked there, is that?
Well, I do have, if you do want me to show some, I have it in your packet, but I also have it here. There is a history here and I don't have any zoning approval or traffic approval for that parking area for the curb cut. The problem is the curb cut. Because, and then obviously, if they're right here, if this is not supposed to be here, then obviously the asphalt's not supposed to be there either.
What was
Okay,
there
let's-
before the asphalt?
Let's come back to that.
We'll get back to that
I
later.
don't see
We'll get
that
back
as-
to that. Like I
as a-
said, that's minor in the grand
That's,
scheme of things here in the grand,
All right, let's start with
yes.
That asphalt has been there since 1972.
it's not relevant. Could have been there since the year one.
Okay,
If it's in violation, it's in violation. It's not,
Okay.
it never came
Okay,
before
I'll
me.
come on this later.
Just let me ask you.
Sure.
The occupancy without the permit, that seems like, what's the story here?
So I have here, and this, I think this would be good to show for the property owner as well, because I'm not sure how much the tenant has told you these things. So we did get an application for occupancy from the tenant. It was in January.
this is climate control?
Correct. And so here was the application, so they filled it out, and I can, list for both of you guys there if you want. And the problem is, the zone, so let me take a half step back.
Yeah.
An HVAC contractor is exactly that, it's a contractor. That's how we have to quantify them. So he could not use the building primarily for storage. He can have his
Oh.
office there and have little
A showroom.
ancillary storage or a little storeroom, that's fine. But the plan he submitted, in good faith, we could not issue that as an office, and I'll show you. You have here a little tiny office, and he was doing the whole rest of it.
For storage?
Oh, he was. He said he just had a few filters and things, and I'm just,
Well, that's why I want you to see, he's proposing the vast majority of that first level
yeah.
as storage for his business. So,
Oh,
storage.
When
storage.
actually it's a showroom.
Well, he didn't put that down, and he didn't correct it, so we let him
Is
know.
that the correct,
It would have to be a showroom with clear displays and clear. This, like, well, we can't
Okay.
have it, just have him having his things there for his
Storage,
business.
yes, okay.
Stored there that he's gonna use to install and to repair.
Hmm.
So normally we are flexible normally with these things, but that's just, because it's all storage, as you see here, basically the whole thing, except for a little tiny office, some bathrooms,
yeah, right.
pretty much storage. So we could not approve that as an
Oh, I see.
office. So, because our office is allowed there, an
Yeah.
office and a showroom is
Yeah,
allowed there.
I saw the girl there. and,
Yeah, so.
A couple times I've been there.
Yeah, so he has to, and he was told, under no,
So he
we
was
gave him this
notified.
back. We gave him this back, even, this is a copy, telling him that it was denied and why.
And he didn't do anything.
We haven't gotten anything since.
Well, this guy's brutal, I'm telling you. I
Alright.
pulled teeth, with this guy.
So that's why I wanted to make sure you saw this, because I want to make sure you guys are getting the whole story here, that,
Yeah, no, I didn't know what he was doing. he told me that he's been here a number of times, he resolved the problem.
He may have come in once or twice, maybe once to drop this off and once to, see where things were. But he hasn't
Hasn't
gotten
resolved the
approval or anything.
I have
Right.
a-
Yes,
I've got the picture on this.
yep,
Now let's go back to the signage.
yes, I can pull that up. Let's see,
The signage in the window, that's the same guy?
it's the same guy, right? So
Okay,
at the moment, that is not taken care of. We can't allow that signage because technically the tenant is not allowed.
oh, but if the tenant's got permits, he could do that.
Maybe not to that size,
Yeah.
but he can do something.
You can put
Or he
something
can put
in.
something in the,
So
In
the
the-
whole
in the
thing
pole
outside the
sign.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, he's
All
got
right, you
that,
can speak all you want now.
go for it.
well, anyway.
One sec, I'm sorry.
Yes, no, go ahead, yeah.
Did you
Go ahead,
object to
Counselor.
any of these pictures? Oh, I asked you that already.
I think you did. I
Yeah,
think you
okay.
asked.
Well, I object to all those flags out there.
No, no,
I mean,
no.
not to the pictures, I
The
mean,
pictures are accurate.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
all right, tell me whatever you wanna tell me.
okay, what I wanted to talk about first, the most important issue is the parking.
Mhm.
Now, my father built that building for my two older brothers.
Mhm.
My first oldest brother was 10 years older than me, ran a body shop downstairs. I used to work
Mhm.
for him. 50 years ago or so.
Mhm.
And then in 1972, he decided to put that second floor on for my other older brother, who ran an automotive parts place there in the front. Now, Bucky Santella, AM Santella, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he was a big contractor here in Norwalk. He built that. He says, well, did the plans for my father. It was approved by the city of Norwalk. It approved a loading dock there in the front, a front bay window with a showroom just behind it,
Mhm.
stairway going up, and he had the loading dock plus 3 parking spaces there.
Okay.
Now, I couldn't find the paperwork for that, but you said, do you have an authorized zoning official who signed off on this? They
I-
signed off, he operated for 22 years there.
I have here, and I'm glad you brought it up. I do have here the permit for when American Auto, Mr. Lametta, went in.
Yeah, he
He got
went
his
in,
permit.
yeah, with Jeff Wallace.
Yep, with Jeff Wallace. This is in 1990.
Jeff was with me for 33 years, he just left a year ago.
So what I have here, I have his approval to be there. He did everything he
complied.
should have done. The one note, however, this was from our Department of Public Works, the transportation coordinator, Bill Black, back in the day, and to our zoning commission, our zoning, ZBA, that the front there, they were gonna come, they needed to have sidewalks and curbs put in,
Oh,
and that's Bill Black's signature there, his initial.
were we notified of that?
And, well, that's a good question, that's 1990.
Were we notified that we were supposed to put
I
in
was 6
sidewalks and
years
curbs?
old at the time.
I don't know,
'Cause,
I wasn't in too much involved then.
I was probably, I don't even know if I was born.
But my older brothers, this was done for them by my father. Now, my older brother told me unequivocally that he was granted a loading dock, 3 parking spaces. I don't know if you guys know anything about operating an automotive parts retail store. I spent quite a few years in automotive, maybe 10 or 15 before I got out. But you had to open that parts business, you wouldn't open it with a back door entranceway. It comes up back into the storage area. There's a fire escape there. So they had to give some kind of approval for that. The plans are indicative of this.
Right, I said,
It shows
those
a-
older plans there, right, I
Yeah,
see
it's
those
no-
plans, yeah.
And I didn't bring them all with me. I just wanted to show you where they approved the loading dock, the city of Norwalk.
Mhm.
They approved the stairwell and the picture window here. And in that front area, my brother Peter had a showroom there with a
Mhm.
counter. And
Yep,
the
that's-
storage
that's-
was back here for all of his parts.
Yep, that's all in here,
And
absolutely.
there was
That's
a
all
fire
correct.
escape coming up
All
the
right, he's
back.
got it.
I want, okay,
The one thing I do wanna show you, so you're aware, this was from, a little ancient history here, and then 1990.
yeah, right.
And this was the minutes from the zoning board of appeals hearing. This wasn't for the auto repair. This was a subsequent variance for the allotment for signage, to basically get that sign that you have there now.
I see.
So to get that approval, you had to go through zoning
Who
board of
applied
appeals.
for it?
That was, I'll give you that real quick here. That was Peter D'Amico.
Peter's my brother.
So what's on here is, and this is from Mr. Steve Wallace of American Auto Supply, the zoning board of appeal, the zoning board of appeals, who was granting the sign variance, asked Mr. Wallace of the parking area in the front. And this was his response. I highlighted it, so you don't have to.
Yes. See, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that-
I mean, my brother was opening a business and he was dealing with them, not me.
Right.
Yeah, it talks about the variance here, see, there.
Mhm.
And,
It seems like Mr. Wallace passed the buck.
yeah, see, I don't know what transpires here because I wasn't there, John,
Right, right.
but,
And they were kind, the ZBA, the zoning board of appeals was kind, they granted the variance anyway for the sign, so the business can have a
Yeah.
sign and actually function. But then, again, it's lost to history, all these zoning officers and board of appeals members are no longer with us. I can't say what exact conversation may have been had off the record or in the office the next
Mhm.
few days. I can only go on what paperwork I have with signatures in front of me.
yeah,
And it's, you know, and I totally understand the need for if there's a loading dock there, but the problem lies, and that's what Public Works today, the traffic guys, what they're gonna say today is, yes, when there was an auto repair there, an auto shop and an auto repair, there was a necessity for the loading bay.
Loading dock.
So that makes sense. Now, if we get an approval for the new guy, this HVAC guy, as just a showroom, not for storage,
That changes it.
that changes it. Cause now they're well within their right to say, well, there's no need for a loading dock now. Cause you're a showroom. You're not supposed to be putting your tools and equipment and things inside the building. You're supposed to be keeping them elsewhere. So the public works department can very easily make a connection and say, yeah, it was there, the door was there, but you don't need it anymore. And then
And they can rescind it.
that would be up to you guys to, as property owners, to deal with public works on that, but I've seen that many, many
you
times.
mean zoning has a right to rescind any right they've granted
No,
you?
not,
in the
not
past?
zoning, public works.
Or public works?
Public Works, because they deal with the right of ways, the streets, the sidewalks. If they come through here, I'm just wild example, if they come through, they say, hey, we're putting in sidewalks here. And they're putting sidewalks everywhere, I don't know if you noticed that. And they say, well, you don't really need one here anymore. Zoning is saying that even
So
if
that would eliminate the parking there.
it would, and that's what, and they would say, well, look, you know, zoning one way or another, either the way he submitted is improper, or we're able to get him a permit. We're able to get him a permit for a showroom in a small office. They would say there's no need for a loading dock anymore. So therefore, we're putting the sidewalks in. They'll give you your opening that you have by the sign. They'll give you a 24, 25 foot opening there, but then they'll install a sidewalk and a curb. And that's them. They have the right to do that.
So there's nothing grandfathered in here is what you're saying?
I look. and
We have
you
no
can ask
recourse.
attorney-
Basically, we have no recourse.
You can ask attorney Overs. I usually don't have this much paperwork when I do my
You know?
presentations here,
Well,
but I wanted to make sure I had everything, because I had a feeling, if not just for the new tenant, but even some things that seem to have transpired in these old permits, I had a feeling that maybe you guys didn't have all the information that you may have been told you had.
well, we didn't have it all because our older brothers were involved,
Right.
but
Right.
I go back into law myself
Mhm.
for a little time.
Yeah.
I think of a case called Fletcher versus Peck, 1810. John Marshall sitting on the US Supreme Court, Attorney Overseer is laughing.
Yeah.
But he handed down.
Do you
a little-
remember it?
Do you remember his obiter dictum?
It's a big case in law school.
Do you remember his obiter?
He said it was a big case in law school.
Yeah, oh, well,
Yeah.
I don't know, it had to do with deeds, you know, Article 1, Section 10, no state shall,
Yeah, I couldn't
You
stand
know.
property.
huh?
It's like,
But anyway, they rescinded, the state of Georgia rescinded a whole bunch of deeds
Mhm.
because it was speculation by the Georgia legislature. Yeah, there was a lot of speculation. They sold millions of acres of the Yazoo lands.
Mhm.
and they were all right now on the take. So, John Marshall straightened them all out nicely, though, in his obiter dictum. He said, because of the Georgia legislature, the one that passed all this law to sell the land was thrown out the next election. They elected a whole bunch of new guys, and they proceeded to rescind what the previous legislature had.
And then they want to take that back and we're gonna, right,
Yeah, so I mean, when I hear, so John Marshall reasoned that a legislature can't do that. Our governments wouldn't be worth anything if they did that.
right.
So, you know, I read about this thing. I'm a student of history and law, attorney Overs. I've read all these cases, and then Wilson versus New Jersey, and Tara versus Taylor, and Webster versus, Dartmouth. I mean, this is contract law. A deed is supposed to be somewhat valid, you know, but if, what Marshall was saying, if government, isn't any good in granting this, then what good would government be? You can't, bank on them. You can't, you know, you can't. So I don't know, this is a moot point, I know, but when I hear all this, all this is running through my.
Right,
If we didn't have someone else on the calendar, I'd
Yeah.
do this all day.
right. Well, we got, yeah, we
We put
should.
them in front and they've got, and this gentleman is also sitting here.
All right,
All right, so you have anything else to say?
No,
No.
not really.
what recourse do we have here?
No, tell us where to go.
Let me ask something, let me ask if there's anyone else who wants to be heard on this matter.
Does not look like it. There are no
I'm just trying to
attendees.
Give everybody a chance.
Unless you wanna jump in. Unless you wanna jump in.
Okay, so how are we gonna cure this? He's either getting a permit or he's in violation of the lease, is what I'm looking at.
Well, I think there's two options here for the property, and when it comes to the tenant, when it comes to the first floor tenant.
Okay,
He can either come in with much better plans showing that he is indeed a showroom or a retail front, or with an office, not storage. So we
Okay.
would need a little, so in addition to his plan, just so you're aware, what we would be requesting, and I'm sure my colleagues and the permitting officers told them this, that a small business plan, how are you gonna use the space? We're gonna be open 8 to 5. We're gonna allow people to come in and look at our products and can sit down in our office and order, you know, what they want, and they'll install it. But they'll order and they'll install it, but they will not be storing it here, like the big condenser units and things like that.
is
They
that
can
what
do
he's
that.
doing? Does he
I
have
have-
condenser units and
Gotta be
things?
completely, I have no idea.
He told me just filters is all he was storing,
I-
and I wouldn't believe him, I'll tell you.
Right.
And, he's BS'd me a number of times, and I've had it right up to here.
So your
Okay.
second, that's a good transition to your second option. You do always reserve the right as a property owner.
Oh,
to
yeah.
evict them.
Oh, I will. I've only had to evict one tenant.
Mm.
I'm not for throwing people out. I try to be fair,
Right,
honest, and considerate of anybody who comes in there. I've been in business.
right.
I know.
You know the routine, yep.
So,
So I think that you have to decide on to say,
Oh, yeah.
what factory, what do you want, cause yes, there is a process, Attorney Oberst knows the eviction process very well. And that could take a little time, but it's something that you're doing to try and remedy the problem. It's a case by case basis. It could be literally months. And it could be,
well, you know, I've spoken to him about this for a couple of months already, ever since I've gotten this. And I already ordered the guy on the lower
Don't we
level.
have scheduled hearings?
what's that? Well, how do we get from, so basically what happened was, we went from the January 29th. That was the first time you heard it, and you continued it to allow things to get an application in, to get things going.
Shouldn't get a variance? Is
And
that-
then,
Yeah. I guess that's
May-
what it
We
is.
can't talk when other people are talking. This is all being recorded in case there's an appeal.
so,
It's just let Mr. Hayducky speak.
so then we went to the 16th. You can get into April 16th, but we had the Zoom issue,
Right,
so here we are today.
okay, so. Recommended is there.
And also, I think another thing to start with is having a very stern and frank conversation with the tenant below about his signage. Cause to be completely honest, the temporary signage and all that, the little, you know, the banners and those, little work, those can all be removed in a day or two.
Well, they told me they removed them, John.
I mean, we went out yesterday and they
They weren't,
were still
And then
there.
his brother came about 2 weeks ago to pay the rent, And I said, I told your brother, and his brother took a picture of your notice.
Yeah, here's the,
Reading the zoning regulation for 30 days. And he took out his cell phone there and he photographed it and he was gonna take it to his attorney. It's a big law firm here in North. I can't remember the name of it, but,
well, I'll let you know, see that picture up there right now?
Mhm.
That there was taken by my colleague, the deputy zoning inspector, Ian.
yeah.
That was taken just yesterday,
Oh, good.
February, May 6th. And
Okay.
you can see he has all the signage down here. It's on the concrete wall.
Yeah.
He has it on the fence. My suggestion for the hearing officer, and for you guys as well, I mean, I can't predict what he's gonna do with an attorney, but for you guys to have a conversation with him to say, hey, get rid of this stuff.
Right,
You know, I doesn't have to throw it out, but don't put it out. And then that's at least one thing, that's an easy one out of all this, is to get rid of
Get rid
this
of it.
stuff. And then that's one less you have to worry about on the
Oh, I
list.
agree with you 100%.
So I think that's a good avenue to look at as well. And we can look at the parking and things later on,
Yeah,
but we have two, what I feel, and this is just, again, from my years here, two easy solutions here, the easiest being get rid of that signage. Have the tenant remove that signage as soon as possible, because that doesn't take long. And then either have the climate care tenant come in with a proper plan and a business plan to show that he can be approved there. Or underneath that, if you choose to evict them, you can do that. And then all you have to do is let me know that you started that process.
okay,
And then I can forward that to Attorney Overs.
all right.
okay. I don't mean to make a
Yeah.
big deal out of this or anything, but we're caught, in between here, between these tenants sometimes. And, what they do and what they don't do.
Being landlord, that comes with the territory.
Oh, well, I've been there for
Problem-
60 years.
Your problem is that you're responsible.
That's right.
If they take down the signs and everything's fine and they come back up again, we're coming after you.
Yeah, I hear you.
And fines accumulate, we have the right to fine you.
Oh, I know, I've read all the papers.
Right
Right.
now, your fine. My fining ability is $15,000,
Wow,
and it keeps going up.
yeah,
I'm not
So
fining,
it
I'm not,
start at 15,000?
no, it's gotten to 15 since this started.
We
Once
could
it's-
be assessed the $15,000
It could be.
fine
Yeah, you could be.
unless this is taken care of.
Well, even if it is, I could fine you, but what I'm interested in is your actions to cure your problem.
We'll take care of it.
okay.
Just so the fines are, it's $150 per day they exist,
Yeah, I read that.
per violation.
Yeah,
So that's why it's a high number, because technically, put on there that we have 3 violations. And so we can go back and forth about the parking a little bit, but there's clearly 2 violations here. We have a tenant with no permits, and we have
No signage.
improper signage. So there's
Okay,
clearly 2 that would easily quantify for $150 a
No,
day.
in terms of the parking, you're gonna have to give us,
Sure,
the procedure to rectify
we
this.
can do that, I can
I
definitely
mean,
do that.
what, the word blight came up, what was that about?
The little signs, so like these little guys, I'm gonna see, I'll zoom in a little bit.
the ground.
And that is if there's any slight silver lining to all this, I checked with my colleague Steve in the blight office, that you guys know,
Steve Brusky.
Steve Bruschi.
Yeah,
He does not have a file on this right now.
he doesn't know.
He does not, and his fines are $100 a day.
Holy
So, but these little guys, these little, where it says tire sale and all these things, and even these pennants here, those are a thorn in his side over there. But not here, we don't have it, you don't have a file, so you're safe on that for now.
Oh, but he does.
He doesn't.
Oh, he does
If
not.
he does get one, this is pretty easy for him.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're appalled at a lot of this stuff that you guys have brought to our attention. We didn't know about some of this.
Right.
Yeah, but that's always the problem, tenants will lie to you.
And
You're not the first person that tenant lied.
Oh, God. Who needs it?
You have a buyer for us?
Uh,
We wanna sell
We're
it.
depression kids from the 30s.
I got a client now who owns 4 rental properties, which on the average bring him $2,000 a month. And he has to maintain it and listen to all this shit. And we did some analysis. We sold the property and invested the money at 4%, he'd be getting 3,000 a month. I wouldn't have to do anything. So he's going, all right, let's go sell it. So
Hang on, yeah.
It's supposed to be an investment that you make money off of, not.
We're headed to that because we're all getting a little
Oh,
older now and we don't wanna deal with it anymore.
We are the youngest of 11 children.
Okay, well, what I'm looking for is to continue this and to see what you've done.
All
I'm
right,
telling you what to do,
Okay,
but I wanna feel that this problem is getting corrected.
okay.
When do you wanna come
or else we
back?
get fined, yeah.
You know what, I think having not the 20th or the May here, how about we see where we are? We do have a June hearing scheduled, we'll just see where we are,
Okay, well.
Okay.
that's fine.
let's see where that.
Either call me on the phone,
Yeah.
John, or.
And you guys
Or you-
can meet outside of here and go over what
Absolutely.
you're.
Come on in, and if
So,
you
'cause
have,
he knows what I'm looking for, and if you come in here and haven't done it,
and if you
you
have.
have a chance of telling
And if
you.
you have somebody that's out there helping, like, if you know somebody that's a contractor, somebody that's not this guy. You have somebody that's, you know, in the business a little bit in, you know, government and permitting and things like that. Have them come in with you. We can help and we can explain everything, get a nice bullet point list of what needs to be done for the tenant and for the parking. We know what needs to be done for the signage. There's no, that's black and
Yeah,
white. That's,
okay.
And
you
you
know.
can always start an eviction process. You don't have to evict them, but once you start a process, sometimes that wakes them up.
Yeah,
You're
right.
Absolutely right. Well,
I
as I
don't see
said, this-
anything in June, am I?
We do have, I have 3 items for the 18th. So I hope we have a hearing, because if we don't, then I
Oh,
got.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at Thursday, right.
Okay,
I got us down on June 18th. You're
Is
right.
that a Wednesday?
it's a Wednesday, they're always
Okay.
Wednesday. Yeah.
June
So,
18th, we have to
18th.
come back?
We're gonna put you down, yes, you're gonna have to come back because unless everything is done.
Well, we're gonna have to report compliance on the 18th,
On
right?
something, yeah, or at least progress towards it, at least,
Okay.
you know, and
Looking
like,
for progress. I
that's
know
what we're
it's-
looking for, we're looking for
You can't-
You
progress.
don't think it's gonna get done, huh?
No, because the guy who's giving you a hard time is gonna lie to you. You got 3 violations, you can't cure them all that fast,
Mhm.
but I wanna see what you're doing. I'm not
Okay.
overly concerned about the parking. I don't see that as a danger to anybody. I know that's an issue we have.
Well, they
All
have
over
been
town,
parking
yeah,
there for
all over
how
town.
many years, Ann?
53
53 years.
Yeah, I know, that's what happens all the
You know
time.
what I wanna do, let me make a quick copy of these papers here, so this way you can keep those.
Okay,
And I'll make a
yeah.
copy of this big one
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's all.
I'll be right back, give me 2 minutes, well, you writing the decision form?
Somewhere.
It's right there, yeah. So
Well,
while you're
we're gonna
doing
get
that, I'll-
something done, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean house. Who needs this aggravation?
Findings, okay. Violations. Continue. I say no fine at this time.
We
Let's
better
try,
stop.
let's
then.
try and keep it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, huh?
why don't we stop at the way home, on the way home?
No
and
fine at
then
this time.
signs it?
Oh, I am. I told him 3 times already,
Yeah,
Gary.
well, I'm going with you.
Continue
We're gonna
to,
go.
what date did we say?
Yeah,
June 18th.
June 18th.
Oh, you don't know how annoyed I am because it's like talking to the wall over there. These people don't listen.
Well,
We're gonna tell them they're out if they don't
Oh, I'll clear
comply.
house fast. I'll get our attorney to do it.
this is for oral note, you're not getting another,
Another.
nothing's.
We
gonna
won't get a
Notified
notification.
letter or
You're
anything.
not getting anything else, this is it. You've been
Okay.
notified, so don't.
All right,
Don't miss
write it
that.
down, June 18th next.
I did on that.
Okay. All right, he'll bring it.
I'll write it down on a copy here.
Clear this. And at that time, the fine will be up to 20,000.
Oh, all right.
Well, it's going up 5,000 a month. I'm not saying I'm gonna assess it, but
You know,
don't not
That's,
do it.
that's a high number.
Yes. It'd be cheaper to get rid of him and get a new tenant.
Hello?
right, you bet.
Or sell it to the place.
Well, we're all up there in years now.
I should
And
have three.
everyone's talking about selling. I have 2 sisters in their mid-90s. I have a brother who's 90. I'm almost 90. My sister's in the mid-80s.
But she may not want that.
Yeah,
on the
you
record.
want that on the record, I don't know if that's how.
So but we're not youngsters. We've been
Some
around
things
a
you
long
can't
time.
hide. Some things you can't hide.
So here's what I have for you. So this was what Public Works submitted to everybody everybody involved back in 1990.
John, I only found one of these.
There you go, it's right here. Yeah, there's only one.
Oh,
Oh, I got it all on
In
one page.
1990, he said this was submitted to everyone.
And then this here, this is what's the important one, so you can see for yourself. Like, this is the one where in ZBA, in that meeting, Mr. Wallace testified
Yeah.
that he brought that notice right there to the attention of that is with the landlord.
Okay,
So that's what,
yeah, that was my,
those are the two important pieces for you to have.
this was my father and my older brother who were handling this at the time.
All right.
Okay, so I'll put this back together.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, you're all set. So if you want to,
Okay.
like I say, we can be in touch, but I think in the meantime, I think the easiest thing to do, have a nice stern conversation with the tenant on the second, on the floor, on the lower
To
level.
an eviction attorney.
And I think that might not be a bad idea either.
You'll have an idea what you're facing, which is never fun evictions.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
All right, thank you
Thank
guys
you
for
so
coming in,
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
we'll see you on the
Are you
18th,
All right,
fine?
got it, no problem.
and I hope it's
Inviting us.
resolved.
Hopefully, I hope so as well. I really do. Okay, so we got this goes here. All right,
Thank you.
Thank
all right,
you.
take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, guys, take care.
Okay, you got everything, Jerry?
Yep.
We'll
see you.
Take care. All right, my friend.
Don't you know they were gonna, I don't know how long he's been.
I didn't think they were gonna be that, I knew there was gonna be a little bit, I didn't think it was gonna be that long, I don't mind.
They like to pick the faster ones first.
Oh, this one, he's gonna be
Okay, what's
pretty quick here, 26 Magnolia,
26, Magnolia.
and I'll give you the, sheet here.
They got out later on the day we didn't have it.
Right, yeah, we're moving pretty good, it's only 4 o'clock, we're moving pretty good.
Okay.
I know, I will, you know.
Oh, it's fun, yeah, have more fun.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And. This one, like I said, I think we're gonna be pretty easy here.
I'm reading.
Hello. Just get distracted.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole owner and I like to. Thank you.
Well, I'm up to speed.
All right. All right, so this for, you want? Where?
You want to raise your right hand? What's your name, please?
Mohammed Naheed.
And what is, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Ahmed. What's your last name?
Naheed, I'm speaking for my father here.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Okay, so, just to, I'll do this as quick as possible here. So last time we actually had a hearing was on February 19th. At that time, we required that an inspection be done by March 6th. By the zoning office and progress by March 19th. Because that's when we continue the matter to.
Right.
February 27th, we did do an inspection. I did a inspection of the entire premises. And saw a few things. The garage was still finished with bathroom fixtures, but nobody was in there. It was not habitated, which is good. And the attic was still finished and seemingly occupied. And so property was still considered to us, either at worst case, a 4-family, or at best case, a 3-family with a finished garage. So, because other departments had files as well, the health department and fire marshal, we all met out for an inspection again on March 20, and I'm sorry, when did we go out there? The 17th, March 17th. When we went out there. It was done by all departments. The fire marshal had a little hesitancy about the attic, but it was nothing that couldn't be fixed under the permits that we had needed here. So the March 19th hearings were postponed. The matter was rescheduled to the 26th for Attorney Maslin. But in between that time, I met with the owner and we decided after a good heart-to-heart conversation that the initial application, which included an addition, it may have been to expedite things going forward, maybe not to do the addition at this time. The owner can always come back afterwards and add on, but just to try and get this resolved to not do the addition, because it opens up a whole litany of codes. So based on that, Attorney Maslin kicked it to today, so that you can get updated on it. Well, not to today, to April 16th, my apologies. And also in between that time as well, the architect, John, the architect, reached out to me and to see exactly what needed to be done. In fact, we met, went over everything that needed to be done. And on April 28th, he brought in some amended plans. And we approved them. So, the only thing I want to put into a record here, this was just my inspection photos from the 27th. They're in your packet as well there, Counselor. This is the outside. This used to be up top, if you look on the very top, there used to be a door leading out from the living space there, but because that was deemed not habitable, it was removed. And that was done, that was at the request of the fire marshal. So anyway, that's why that looks a little different. That's the outside again. So this first shot is the attic space. This was the entry. This is the unit below. This is like the dining room kitchen area, and then you come up what looks like it used to be a hatch. But there are stairs there. The problem with that was, and the reason why the fire marshal didn't really like that was because it was very small. And I think I got it, here we go. The hatch, this is Ian, my colleague. The hatch is right here. As you can tell, that's pretty small. Ian's about 6 feet, so that's not tall enough. But as you see, there's still, still being used for habitation because there is a bedroom there. There's Ian still over there on the right-hand side. There's that, close up there, and then a bathroom. Again, this is all in the attic. And a fridge and a standing sink. And that. This was because those stairs were removed, there was no second egress.
Hmm.
It was kind of a catch-22, but it needed catch-22, but the condition was. This could not be occupied, that was
Sure.
so, and then this is the garage. So we have, it's still finished, as you can tell, but the fixtures are removed. Still fridge. This is, if you look from the street on this side, it's a corner property, the Magnolia, and I think it is Truman on that side?
Yeah, true.
Truman, yep. This is where the garage door used to be, but if you look at from the outside, still there.
Sure.
So, I don't think you guys didn't do that work. That was the previous owner, right?
Which one?
In the garage.
No, that was my dad. He wanted, he didn't know.
Oh,
He
okay.
didn't get the permit. That's
Yeah. All right, no, that's fine. I just, it looked like we have a lot of that in town where folks, they will keep the garage doors on and have the wall behind them.
Yeah,
But, and this is just the back end of what used to be the garage. There's a little bathroom in there. And then the last thing, that was the pictures from that inspection. The only other thing else I have on here, this is the approval. The original approval had an addition here. We did an amendment to remove the addition for now, and then there's gonna be some construction done to let the attic be a part of the second floor.
Okay.
So that means, man, the biggest thing there is stairs. You're gonna do some work to the stairs. That's the biggest thing that's gonna have to be done. But that's all building code. That's what the building department. So, at this point, it's up to now the property owner and the building department to move this forward.
Do you have any objection, anything?
no,
I have to finish the question, first. It's gotta be on the record.
sorry.
Okay, go ahead, so.
So basically, a continuance would be, so the contingent fine that was placed back in February was based on us getting an inspection by March sixth, which we did.
Okay,
So that's cured, that's taken care of.
good work.
But we still have, we still have to get the work done. And revert this back to properly a single family house and a apartment, an in-law apartment, accessory apartment.
Okay.
So I would say we either do the June or we do have a July hearing, but we may have to reschedule that on my,
I won't be available July because we're leaving the country for the month.
okay, so that may work. When would you anticipate coming back?
After July, yeah,
So August?
yeah.
That's what, it's a good thing
I
because
would say like 2 weeks after August.
that's a good thing because we already had a July meeting scheduled. I didn't realize that particular day I wasn't gonna be here.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, every now and again,
Yeah, every now and
every now and again,
again. My calendar.
I got my count, oh, you're,
I got it.
there you go. So,
So we're looking at August at this point,
right, we do not have an August date.
okay?
Now, not only will I be out the 30th, I am also out the 20th and 27th of August.
So you wanna go
What are
to,
you gonna do the sixth, or would you be confident that you'll be here on the 13th of August?
One second.
why don't we pick an August date,
Yeah.
whether or not
Pecan, right?
Mohammed wants it,
Yeah,
we can give him a different day.
do you wanna do 13th?
To the 13th of August. I don't have anything right now, so let's put it in.
Okay,
I will give you enough notice if I
that's fine.
decide to take a vacation or something.
You should, you work hard. So 13th good for you?
Fine.
Lovely.
Okay. So so now we got August, and then we'll have to schedule September yet. There's nobody else
Right,
that far.
nobody's that far out, right?
Let's let me get a decision here for you. Okay. So the violations are still occurring.
Still there, yeah, we don't have work started yet for that.
Violations continue.
I would like to say for the
Yeah.
attic, my dad has, I have some images, he's been removing the. If you can see it, that's where the sink used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that's not. That's the bathroom, the toilet, and, the shower, he's getting, removing that. So
Okay.
he's starting the
Yeah,
process.
keep in mind, he has to tell the building department,
Yeah,
because the problem there is, not that I never wanna suggest that somebody doesn't know what they're doing,
yeah,
but there's codes, that you have to cap plumbing right, so it doesn't leak, so it doesn't, so make sure he's on with that.
no problem.
Continue to August 13 for progress. On progress. Okay. Oral notice. This is your notice I'm
Yeah.
not sending late. Oh, well, that was okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got into something that stuck with.
You said August 13th?
August 13th, right? Same place, and no, I'll do, I'll put you first, I'll put a little star and you can go first.
Okay, no
So
problem.
you're in now quick. You did patient on that last one there, so I'll make sure you go first. You're all set. I'll send you a copy of this via email.
Thank
So
you.
you have it.
Okay,
And
thank you.
take care. Safe travels.
This one.
Thank you. And that's this, so that's all that. We do have one more. Yep, and this one is pretty easy.
We never asked if anyone was here.
No, I actually, shockingly, I had it up. So if somebody popped in, I'd be able to see it.
Oh, okay, so,
I'm getting better at this, shocking like all these.
yeah, it's just technology, it's gonna work.
Great. There we go. There's the memo, and that's the.
Okay.
All right, so very quick presentation because actually we were requesting to close this out. This was originally a matter for operation of a contractor storage yard. This one was indeed a business. And so the owner did, after a little persuasion, cease the business and remove the items. But the problem was, there was an ancillary problem of they expanded their driveway to store the equipment and vehicles. So they did remove the commercial vehicles at minimum on or around March 28th. And I do have some photos here. There's a photo on the screen now of what the property looked like in 2024. As you can see, there's definitely a, zoom in a little bit here. You can see they have their trucks here. They may have gone into their neighbor's yard a little bit, and they expanded in the back for storage and a little bit into the front.
Yeah, I remember this.
So, so on or around the 28th, and I do have photos here. This is from April 4th, actually. I can tell there's no equipment, no vehicles. The expanded parking and driveway is still there. And it's not minor, as you can tell by the aerial photo. That's something we kind of have to, it gets into the realm of impervious surface for drainage and things like that. And this is on a slope. So we do need to get a driveway permit for them. However, that being all said, that the original citation and notice did not include the driveway.
Oh,
So, and there's just a little close up of the expanded area towards the front. So the violation of the contractor's material storage and business is, I say is cured, resolved. And I do have here, I'm gonna stop the share screen because I have an email from the owner from this afternoon. I know that guy. There we go. So basically, they're saying they almost done clearing out the extra gravel area that was done in the front. Here's a road here. And I think, I gotta follow up with her. It seems like, and these were taken on April 21st, this photo. I believe they're going to put some landscaping there. I'll follow up to make sure. If they do that, they don't need a driveway permit. They don't need to do anything. If they do decide that they wanna use that for parking or anything, or a driveway, because of how big it is, they may be required to do a drainage analysis. So it has to go through the ropes. So yeah, so this
So
is.
from my point of view,
Yep,
I'm done.
yep, this one is done.
I did a little
Hopefully
bit.
hopefully this one will never come back, hopefully.
So just say violation cured?
Yep, cured, and we can close the file on this one.
Yes, cured. Close file. Okay,
And that is it for today.
well, I thought, that's very good.
Yeah, those, so we do have for your, information and for the folks at home, we do have hearings on the 21st. But we're gonna have to change those by the sounds of it.
I think would be safer. I don't wanna end up
That's fine with me.
letting people sit here for half an hour.
So I can look here. And let me get into our agendas real quick. What does Ian have here? He did not make his yet. Let's see, do they have any citations he sent lately? Yeah, maybe that one. Let's see. Come on now. There's a recent citation that Ian sent, and I wanna see if, what date he put on for his next hearing. That one. Oh, come on now. There we go. Okay, took a little while to load for some reason. Let's see. So. His next hearings are the next week, May 28th. Are his next hearings.
That's the week after.
That's the week after. So, I am open. The only day I may take off because I'd make it a longer weekend would be the 23rd, that's a Friday. We never would do hearings on that day anyway. So, we can do it the 20th, we can do it 27th, we can do
Oh. 20th to Tuesday, that's fine with me.
we can do, I gotta notice everybody 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anyway. So, I had some notes whether the 20th or 21st, because they weren't at the last hearing.
Okay,
So we can do that, we'll put it on the 20th. That would be a Tuesday.
okay, that's fine.
All right, folks, so at home, this is, the
So what's that?
20th are our next set of hearings.
So is that the after hearing get together with,
Oh, let me get this off the, we are all set for today, ladies and gentlemen, take care and